Well, hello everyone and welcome back to our CPU Level 9 Definitive Tournament. It's been about a month since our last installment. Between moving and having lost my voice, I do apologize for that. But we are here in round 2. We'll be looking at 10 different matchups today. And we have a couple of our heavy hitters that will be appearing in this round. And this is no exception because Ness was our #1 seed in the preliminary pools because I believe he only dropped a singular game in any of his matches, and all of his matches were won, and he continues to show some dominating prowess here, finishing off Falco with that very decisive up air. Falco needs to make up a lot of ground in order to retain any semblance of power and control in here, and I'm sure that he will seek to do just that as he uses his side B into the back air there. However, he's now needs to find a heavy kill option and does manage to find that F smash. Celebrates with a little bit of a dash dance there, but Ness can turn things around very, very quickly. Falco's got to be cautious about that. And just like that, there's 3 of those PK fires that all land into each other, and Falco is up at 80%. Up air killing tools. And I apologize for audio issues there. There may have been some issues as well, but Ness doing very, very well for himself here in this second round. Oh, if Ness had gone for a down air there, that would have been curtains for this first game. Gets the down air this time around, and with the up smash, we can move on to our second round. Ness taking the advantage here in game 1. Alright, we have a counter pick over to Town and City from Falco. That tends to do fairly well against a lot of the projectile heavy characters, but the thing that Falco may have neglected to notice is Ness has his own way of harassing his opponents from long distance, albeit not a traditional projectile campy kit, but there's still a lot of things that he can do to really put the hurt on his opponents. Let's see, Ness jumping back up to ledge there, gets an up air, and that has been a very favored move of his in this matchup thus far. Gets the forward throw, and the PK Thunder chasing Falco down off the right-hand side of that stage, and he's really harassing him with these different options he's got. Falco does manage to connect the up smash. That doesn't kill, but the forward air shortly thereafter does. That actually may have been a back air over there on that platform. Ness firing right back off of the restock, and we are even at 0% apiece on that second stock of the game. Ness getting around that last laser there, which he desperately needed. Ooh, and he's probably too far gone. Yep, way too far off to the side there to recover after catching that back air from Falcon off the side of the stage, but we will have to see if he continues to mess with him and can even things out at the last stock for the match. Falco getting a couple of those lasers in, and Ness really struggling to find an option. Finally manages a grab and a back throw. Got a little bit of ground to make up, but as we saw in the first game, he is very capable of doing so. And he catches Falco in his PK fire yet again, basically evening things out, though Falco's still with a pretty significant edge over him. Doesn't manage to land it. If he had, that could have been curtains for Ness in this second game, and that back air is actually going to even things out, and Ness looking to take advantage of a counter pick headed into game 3. Ooh, we have counter picked over to the Final Fantasy stage here, and that may serve to be a little more advantageous for Ness because there's not as many platforms he needs to keep in mind. And he's currently putting the hurt onto Falco, really kind of making him regret forcing a game 3. But an early SD out of Ness? That is uncharacteristic for our #1 seed here, and that's really unfortunate. Ooh, we had the super armor off of the PK Thunder recovery, really helping him out. And Ness is in a rough spot here. He's not going to make it back. Falco is up big. And Ness, our #1 seed, may very well see himself sent down to loser's bracket, which is never what you want to see in your first technical round. He's probably down and out at this point. Finally gets the forward tilt there to even out the, well, not even out the stocks, but at least take a stock off of Falco here. Ooh, we've got a PK fire into a forward smash. That's a good move for him. Up smash is not enough to kill there. Didn't have much charge on it at all. But Ness, surprisingly, has managed to even things out on our final stock. Falco sending Ness far and away with that forward air. Ness does manage to make it back to stage. And he's very far away again. Tries to air dodge down to the ledge. Falco reads it and knocks #1 seed down to loser's side. That is unprecedented. So these were some fairly middle-of-the-road competitors in our preliminary rounds. Both competitors did well enough to see their way past the first round bye, but nothing super crazy by any means. Now, Villager has a lot of options that can deal significant burst damage, and so Jigglypuff's got to be careful with that, as it can cause some problems for her when it comes to her shield damage, as she has that unique characteristic throughout the roster where if her shield breaks, she is instantly KO'd. Of course, Jigglypuff being one of the lighter members of the cast, that can make things kind of difficult for her to scrap back after a deficit. And Villager manages to land an up air. I did not see how many turnips it was. I believe it was more than just the one. But Jigglypuff firing back with a forward smash off the restock, and we are even at 2 stocks apiece. And manages to get the multi-jab out of the end of Jigglypuff's rollout, which is an interesting punishing option for sure. Villager with another up air to kill. That time we just had the singular turnip, so we'll have to keep an eye on how Jigglypuff continues to deal with this matchup, though she does seem to be struggling pretty severely. Jigglypuff can easily end up punished very harshly off the restock there. We've got the Lloyd Rocket Explosion that sends Jigglypuff over to the right. It's not enough to kill, but that up smash will, because it has a deceivingly large vertical hitbox. We have the counter pick over to Smashville, and this one is, I don't know what Jigglypuff's strategy was in counterpicking here, if I'm being completely honest, because, I mean, I guess it's less platforms to run around, but Jigglypuff tends to have some benefit from camping against certain types of opponents. However, Villager benefits a little bit more because he's a little more versatile and also falls into the projectile campy spam type playstyle, and that is just covering a lot of onstage options that Jigglypuff just doesn't have any answers for, unfortunately. Jigglypuff's starting to throw out a couple of her pounds, but I haven't seen it land or be effective to the point of justifying the use, which is unfortunate because it's a really decent damage dealer in her kit. Even if it does have a little more lag as she gets caught by that up air, again from Villager, that being a very favored kill option for him. And gets the jab through that platform as Jigglypuff rises through to contest. And she's just struggling to find retaliation options against this Villager. And as I say that, she lands a rest, which is incredibly powerful and potent there. Very nice work from Jigglypuff. But she's hanging out in the upper blast zone and taking blast zone damage, which is not great for her. Gets caught with the back air. Not enough to kill at just yet. Maybe benefited from some fortunate DI there. Villager connecting with a nair of his own, and ooh, she had no chance of getting away with that, but I did not know that you could grab someone out of the damage of that tree growing. And Jigglypuff's down smashing Villager right through that tree and evening things out yet again. She was not happy about being put up all the way to 172% before taking that last stock with the tree growth grab combo there from Villager. Oh, misses the down smash or the down special rest there, and it then falls subject to Villager's down smash, and I don't think that this was a huge surprise for anyone that Villager ends up taking this match, sending Jigglypuff over to loser's side. That will pit Villager up against Falco in round 3, but we have more matches to get to today, so let's go ahead and look at Snake versus Inkling. Alright, so we have our third set up here and going, and Snake is a very scary competitor, and I think Inkling knows that, but there's not a whole lot that she can do to really get around him because he has some very unique harassing tools. Managing to keep things fairly level though, all things considered, against this Snake, and gets the parry off of Snake's up tilt there, which would have been a very aggressive option had it landed. She's got to be cautious because we have seen a little bit of some issues against other opponents of hers. The down throw from Snake probably wasn't the best option there, and though he did successfully pull off the C4 recovery, it was too much damage, and that's going to send him right back, but he does level things off on the restock, and we are even at 2 stocks apiece. And both combatants getting stuck by the same C4 detonation there, which is not something that you typically see Snake wanting to do, but it can indeed be something that occurs. We'll have to see if Inkling can continue to keep up the pressure, or if Snake is going to take the advantage. And with that up air, he does take the lead here, which is what we expected to see from our number 16 seed. Both combatants making it back to ledge. That super armor with the Cypher really helping Snake live a little bit longer here. And Snake does end up going down, but not to the forward smash from Inkling, which is very interesting, because that's what she was ramping up to do. Got more C4 being set up here from Snake, and Inkling in a little bit of a rough spot. Makes it back to ledge, which is good. He was not going to be able to use that C4, but as it was set up as an excellent ledge trap, that gives Snake the win in the first round here. Inkling has the counter pick over to Small Battlefield, which is basically a similar orientation that we saw with Pokemon Stadium being the neutral opening stage. So maybe Inkling just wanted to have a little bit less room to have to worry about. Snake going for interesting punishes with his down throws, not landing anything significant, which is unfortunate for him. Typically he goes for the up tilt, but that's really only when it's a very clear killing option. Inkling manages to land the forward smash, but it is not going to be enough to kill, which is not great for her if she wants to force this into a Game 3 set or take any sort of meaningful advantage. Snake unfortunately catching himself with his C4 detonation there, and that puts him in a rough spot because he should be looking to maintain an advantage here. And Inkling jumps up into that platform. Snake was ready with the C4 detonation and does manage to even things out, but is still at a 50% deficit here in the second stock. Ooh, Snake had detonated that C4 a little too late, which is unfortunate because that would have really served him well. Inkling landing the down air off stage, not only destroying the Cypher, but also getting the spike hitbox on Snake to take the lead here. But she's in a bit of a rough spot where she does not have any ink available currently, and that is a very important part of her damage dealing kit. Especially where he caught himself with his C4 detonation just a few moments ago. The back air is not going to kill, And the Nikita almost does, but the get up invulnerability there just barely protects Inkling from the C4. The down throw to up tilt combination at that high of a percent, though, is you're not getting out of that. And Inkling goes for that down air again, but it does indeed miss. Snake gets the forward air spike on stage, but Inkling's neutral air will finish off the stock and give Inkling game 2. So let's head over to game 3 and see where we end up. Snake counterpicking over to Lilet Cruz, which he's got to have some motive for that. And my guess is it is going to give Inkling a little bit of a rougher time with some of her kit, especially that splat bomb that she uses to create some spacing against her opponents. Snake is finding a lot of favor with his up smash here, though, having landed it twice thus far, and has a very significant percent lead currently. Looking to close things out quickly if he can. That up smash from below that ledge could have been the option, but the back air is what he opts for instead. Gets the Nikita into the grenade and then follows up with a secondary Nikita off stage, giving himself a very advantageous lead here in the third game of the set. We'll have to see if he manages to find something as they camp around this left side platform here. Ooh, Snake dropping out of the Cypher to get a couple of down air hits, and then finishes off with the up air, giving himself a significant two-stock lead. Still on the first stock of this of this game in particular. Inkling is any strong move away from taking this stock. The forward air just barely managing that, but does get a little bit of residual chip damage from the grenades that lingered at the end of that last stock. Any significant hit from Snake here is going to be enough. We had the C4 auto detonation there after 30 seconds of being active, and that evens things out in Inkling's favor, but he had managed to sticker with the C4, and that gives Snake the win here, which isn't unexpected as he did very well in our preliminary rounds. Here we are at Kalos Pokemon League, and Robin was a very aggressive competitor in our preliminary rounds. He currently is sitting at seed 17 from the initial standings, and he just has a lot of potential in his kit. Easily one of the more versatile Fire Emblem characters, and I don't know if he was the best performing, but he was certainly in the top end of the Fire Emblem competitors in this tournament. Rob doing a decent job of keeping things even, but Robin has the 11 sword that can really put the hurt on his opponents. Both characters being decently capable at recovering, and that 11 sword connection in the up air through the platform, very scary for Rob if he wants to maintain any sort of a lead here. The arc fire coming out, it's not landing in the areas that he would really appreciate it to. Let's see what Robin decides to do. He lets the Arc Thunder fly, and it's not enough, but the final hit of that 11 sword is going to be enough to finish off Rob's first stock, but Rob fires off with an up smash off of the restock and evens things out fairly well. Robin opting for the high recovery to ledge, or not to ledge, but to the platform above the ledge, and then lands the Thoron from across the stage, taking the lead yet again. And Robin causing Rob some real struggles here as he seeks to recover back up to the ledge. Gets the tech off the side there, which is good because otherwise Rob would have been in a very tricky spot. You try commentating a match that has both Rob and Robin, see how it goes for you. But Robin finding the killing blow over Rob there at the end with his up air using that 11 sword, and takes game 1. So let's see what Rob decides to counterpick to. And Rob has counter-picked over to Battlefield, which isn't too surprising because it gives him some more traditional platforms to work around. And Robin is struggling a little bit off the start here, but it does partially come down to the fact that he does not have Levensword active off the start of the fight. It does have a charge up at the start, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense that it has to charge up off the start of the fight, but I didn't design the character. There had to have been some sort of balancing reason for that. Now that he's used up that Levensword, though, he has taken the percent lead, and we'll have to see if Rob can find an answer to him while the Levensword is on cooldown. I don't know if Robin managed to get the Thoron fully charged there. Gets the up smash with the Levensword right as it recharges, and we'll see how he wants to finish out this stock. He's got to be careful with all of these projectiles, though, because if Rob throws out a side B at the right time, he can send that reflected right back at him. We had a back throw from Robin and a forward smash from Rob. We are now even again at 2 stocks apiece. Both combatants in a bit of a rough spot here, and we'll have to see how either combatant finishes things off. Robin finally managing to take that second stock with the back air, has the Levensword on cooldown yet again, gets the Z drop with it, but not before Rob manages to even things out and puts Robin down on his second or final stock of this second game. And Rob finally getting some damage onto Robin here on this final stock. But Robin has the Levensword on deck and uses it out of the arc fire with the forward air and takes a very commanding 2-0 lead over Rob to advance into round 3 and send Rob down to loser's side. So I don't know why there was such a disparity between Richter versus Simon, because Simon did not do well in the preliminary rounds, but Richter, on the other hand, did incredibly well, having 6 of his first 8 matches having ended in, or sets having ended in victory for him. And Pichu, conversely, did not do as well as Pikachu, his counterpart, and very early on struggling here, losing that first stock to the down smash from Richter. I don't think that Pichu is benefiting as much from these strange platforms here on Lylat as opposed to what Richter would. Richter just barely missing the up B recovery, maybe should have tried going for a forward air to tether back to that ledge, but either way he still has a decent percent lead on these second stocks. And the side B cross there, still not the option he was looking for. Pichu managing to land that forward smash at max rage, though of course he was at high enough of a percent that he didn't necessarily need the rage to help him get that kill. Richter going to finish off Pichu's second stock with that forward throw, opting for the up B, multi-hits again, not the worst option, but certainly not anything meaningful, and Richter's way too far off the side, and Pichu's going to take a stock off of him, a game off of him to start off this set. Okay, Richter did not like how that first match ended, and so he has opted for Final Destination. No platforms, no funny business. He's just going to put the aggressive chase down onto Pichu here and hope to claim this second game so he can force a Game 3 situation. The dash attack doing fairly well for him as well. Gets the Holy Water Aura, the Holy Aura fire down there, and does manage to connect a forward smash out of it, which sends us to the second stock, or Pichu's second stock of the match. The Nair is not going to be the kill option he was looking for, but he does manage to harass Richter off the edge there and force the second stock after he otherwise was safely recovering back with his tether. Richter needs to find an option to finish out this stock, And Pichu was not wary of that cross boomerang returning. And there we have the forward air angled down towards the stage to finish off Pichu's second stock. Richter is now at max rage. Can he take advantage of that and layer more damage onto Pichu before that stock falls away? No, he really can't. And so Pichu has evened things out, but Richter is going to continue to put a lot of hurt onto Pichu here as we get into the final stocks for each combatant. And can he get a smash attack? He misses the up smash yet again. That has such a narrow hitbox in a vertical direction, which is not super great for him. Oh, Pichu got caught up in the holy water, and then upon falling out gets hit with the forward smash. So Richter has recovered and forced a game 3, and we'll have to see who moves on into round 3 winner's side. Alright, we have Pichu's counterpick to small battlefield. He likely wanted to use some of these platforms, and I don't think that he took into account that Richter has some increased benefit from having platforms as well. But we'll see if Pichu's decision was indeed wise as the match plays out. And Pichu makes it back to ledge, as his recovery is far superior as compared to that of Richter's. But the point-blank axe throw through that platform is going to take that first stock away from Pichu and put him in a point where he is left needing to respond. Richter makes it back to the ledge and continues to aggressively chase down Pichu here. And Richter gets hit with the tail end of that down air, which doesn't kill him outright, but does send him too far away to the point where he is incapable of recovering back. We'll have to see if he can hold on for any length of time at that percent. The dash attack's not going to kill there. And Richter, with the devious down air, puts himself in a position where he is now on his last stock. There was no reason to go for that degree of disrespect, especially when Pichu was nowhere near that zone. Gets the spot dodge away from the forward smash. Richter needs to close this out, finally does so with an up B, but he's now at the 50% deficit. Richter does a lot better at that due to his varied arsenal and distance in his weapons and attacks. Goes for the up smash, again, not the option that he really should have been using there. Pichu drops shield at just the wrong moment, gets hit with that attack there, and as he finishes things out with the down air, Richter, our number 8 seed, is sent over to the loser side of this bracket. Captain Falcon did decently well here. He has seed number 25, and Samus didn't do terrible, but was fairly middle of the road in terms of the players. I mean, we had 84 players, and she was at position number 40. And as we can see, both combatants are, playing about as well as you would expect them to against each other. Samus, though, currently has the upper hand in terms of percent, and gets the screw attack off of the platform there. It's not enough to kill, but it certainly put Captain Falcon in a rough and dangerous spot that high up close to this top blast zone. And Captain Falcon still makes it back to ledge there. His recovery is pretty good, and gets the forward tilt spike there to send Samus down to an early demise despite having the percent lead. Gets the down air spike there again, but Samus evens things out stock-wise with that back air. Not before Captain Falcon was at a very high percent though, so she'll have to continue to layer in some more damage and potentially use the distance that she can create more to her advantage here. Gets the forward air off the edge there, fires away the charge shot, and that doesn't do it, but the back air does. off of that ledge grab, and now Samus finds herself at an advantage over Captain Falcon. And Captain Falcon promptly takes a knee to the face and gets sent, or sends a knee to the face, and Samus gets sent off into the blast zone, evening things out on our final stock of this first game. Samus makes it back to the ledge there, and gets the parry on the forward tilt there from Captain Falcon. And Samus finishes things off with a down air to force, or I guess not force a game 2, but could potentially force a game 3 against the higher seeded Captain Falcon. So let's see what he decides to do with this counter pick.
3, 2, 1, go!
So Captain Falcon has elected to go to PS2 for his counter pick stage, and is currently paying the price for it because he's yet again at an early percent deficit. Maybe he just doesn't have the kit or the knowledge to deal with these projectiles that Samus is throwing out, but he's starting to show a bit more prowess here in evening out the percentage. Samus lets that charge shot go and is able to connect it. She is likely going to take that stock, but Captain Falcon ends up taking the first stock with an up smash. And Samus firing right back with a super missile and then comboing her forward air off of Captain Falcon's attempts to recover back to ledge. Both combatants making it back to that right side ledge. Samus gets the down air on stage, but Captain Falcon is now in the lead after landing another up smash. And just as she lets that charge shot fly, Captain Falcon rolls around it, and that was a really good equalizing option for her. Captain Falcon takes advantage of the misfortune by landing that knee and sending us to a game 3. Alright, Samus has counterpicked over to Battlefield, an interesting option for her, but she has tended to do a little bit more with the traditional platforms and jumping around them and the like. Captain Falcon seems to struggle early on, but eventually finds a rhythm that he can really settle into. If Captain Falcon would have successfully landed that up smash on Samus there, like he did just there, could have taken an earlier advantage, but no bother, he's still in control of this matchup, at least for the time being. And spot dodges around Samus's first grab there, though misses the second one. Samus now starting to put a little more pressure onto Captain Falcon, and he is unable to recover from that forward air that she landed on him there. He just has a habit, and a really bad one at that, of running face long into, or headlong into these super missiles that are being thrown out. And Captain Falcon finally taking an advantage back with that up smash. If Samus would have had that last hit of her own up smash connect, she probably would have evened things out at 0% apiece. But for now, it looks like she is getting struck by several of those Falcon dives and finally manages to put away that second stock with the back air. Though Captain Falcon is looking to finish things off, goes for a Falcon Punch. Samus wisely did not drop through the platform into it, or that would have been curtains for her. No questions asked. Samus gets the back throw. Captain Falcon does make it back to ledge. And Samus actually pulls off the upset and continues to move on our winner's side. Alright, our seventh set of the day is between Pokemon Trainer and Bowser Jr. Now, Bowser Jr. pulled off an upset against Peach in round 1, but Pokemon Trainer was our number 9 seed overall, so we'll have to see if he can continue to be a bit of a bracket buster here. Barely manages to keep Bowser Jr. at bay there, but does end up falling. The down air from Bowser Jr. ends up sending Charizard back up, and then we have the back air from Bowser Jr. that takes that first stock. Probably should have done that a lot sooner on the first stock, if we're being completely honest. He seems to deal a lot better with these options that Bowser Jr. is trying to throw out here. And Charizard switches right into the Cannonball. And Bowser Jr. is looking to pull off at least the first game here in this match against an otherwise very high level and competent competitor. But yeah, I really don't think that that was the play. Let's see if we get an Ivysaur swap here. No, we have a 3-stock coming out of Bowser Jr. in a match that should have been free for Pokemon Trainer based off of how he behaved in the preliminary rounds. So we'll have to see if he can dig himself out of this hole.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, Squirtle has counterpicked over to Callus, which is basically the same setup that we had in the last match. But the difference being there are some ledges on, or there's some walls that go down into the blast zone here. So we'll have to see if he really takes any sort of noticeable advantage here. Pokemon Trainer switching over to Charizard very early in this match, which I do think is a better play for him, because he's heavier, generally means that he'll live a bit longer, and has a bit more heavy hitting strikes that can serve fairly well, but was just getting harassed too much by the Bowser Jr. here. Squirtle finally starting to even things out a bit percent-wise, and this Ivysaur manages to hit that down smash and actually takes the advantage here where he'd otherwise been in a very disadvantaged position. Squirtle comes back out at 170%. This is another one of those calls that I do not agree with, but we'll have to see if it does indeed prove to be beneficial for him. But no, the jab finisher from Bowser Jr. is going to even things out at 2 stocks. We've got the Nair coming out from Charizard and the forward tilt after Bowser Jr. clips above the ledge as opposed to snapping to it. And Pokemon Trainer finally showing that there may be more than what we initially thought to that ranking, as they very quickly dispatch that last stock from Bowser Jr. and force us into that Game 3 situation. So we'll see where Bowser Jr. counterpicks to and whether or not that serves him any benefit. Alright, counterpick has been locked in as Smashville, and it'll be interesting to see if this platform configuration serves Pokemon Trainer better, or if indeed Bowser Jr. Takes the initiative here and continues his upset run. Ivysaur coming out to play, and I think that that is fitting given the percent that he was at, but we do need to see that switch over to Charizard. You had an extra jump there. I don't know why you burned your up special. So Bowser Jr. again in an advantageous position here. Oh, you ran right into that Mega Koopa Charizard, but the back air is finally going to equalize here. And so we're even at 2 stocks apiece, but Bowser Jr. has an 80% lead, which is not great. And at this point, I'm just convinced that Pokemon Trainer is content on throwing. But maybe not, because we are now even at 0% on the last stock of the set. If you know what's good for you, Pokemon Trainer. And Bowser Jr. continues his upset run, knocking off number 9 seed Pokemon Trainer. Absolutely unprecedented. Maybe he was smurfing the whole time. Okay, we have our starting match, Pit and... interesting reflection going on there, but Pit and Cloud hanging out here. Now, Cloud is the higher favored opponent, at seed number 24, whereas Pitt is at seed 41. And currently was it percent 40, and putting of pressure onto Pitt here. I apologize for any of those audio issues as Cloud lands a limit cross slash to take that first stock. And that side B is not going to kill just yet, which is very surprising, all things considered. Cloud looking to see if he can get limit for a third time on this stock. He does not, and trades the forward smash with Pitt's side B, which has armor and helps him take a stock and even things out. Cloud needs to find an option to finish off this Pitt, and getting hit by an up smash was not the option that I would have picked, but the Blade Beam will be enough to kill at that high of a percent, giving Cloud the lead in this game yet again. Pitt doing really well at providing a lot of that pressure with the silver bow there. And he does manage to land the up smash and even out our stock count. You're just going to let him charge his full limit gauge there? Apparently you are, and you're then going to immediately get hit by the limit cross slash. I don't understand the decisions that Pitt is making here, but they are not good ones by any means. And that forward smash is going to do it, giving Cloud the lead. And let's see what Pitt decides to do for his counter pick.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, so Pitt has counterpicked to Battlefield, and I don't know how well that's going to work for him, but we will have to see as the match plays out. Cloud, on the other hand, is being hyper-aggressive and continuing to layer damage into Pitt, similar to what we saw out of Game 1. Cloud burns his limit Blade Beam, but then lands an up smash in order to take that stock off of Pitt and take the lead yet again. There are definite reasons why Cloud is as high on this ranking as he is. And finally gets a down B or a down air spike, though it is on stage. And Cloud trades a dash attack with the side B, and this time manages to win out over that super armor, perhaps connects right before the super armor fully activated. Either way, he's at a 2-stock lead. And Pitt finally answering with an up smash, but it's likely too little too late here for Pitt to pull out any sort of a victory here. Gets the forward air into the up smash, and any significantly strong hit from Cloud at this point is going to finish him off. And that dash attack is certainly one that falls into that category. We had a bit of a 0 to death there off the end. Cloud with a very commanding win here against Pitt to continue his run up to Bowser Jr., so we'll see if he can knock him off into the loser's side.
3, 2, 1, go!
Alright, we are starting off on Yoshi's story, and Olimar did very, very well in the preliminary matches. He can deal a lot of chip damage to his opponents with these Pikmin, and boy did I underestimate how well he would actually do here. Gets the yellow Pikmin forward air there, and Olimar now starting to get more damage in against this Shulk, and even manages to avoid the vision counter. Poison Pikmin dealing a lot more damage to Shulk. He's up at 140% and burns that up B way too far off the stage, though he'd already used his one jump, so there wasn't a whole lot he could do to get back. And Olimar remaining very aggressive and showing that he deserves his top 5 placement. Shulk is in his jump art for some reason and manages to actually land his vision counter as opposed to just having used it previously. We're even on stocks, but the percentage tells a very different story. Purple Pikmin goes flying off the edge there, but we will have to see if Shulk can answer. He cannot. He burns that up very far off and away, and Olimar is at, again, a full stock lead here in this match. And Olimar manages to shield that forward smash, and Shulk needs to burn his smash art duration and activate his jump art to get back and recover there. However, Olimar retaliates with an up air using the purple Pikmin, and that will give him game 1 and send us into Shulk's counter pick for game 2.
3, 2, 1, go!
So for our counter pick from Shulk, we have gone over to Kalos, and Olimar is wasting no time in putting the hurt onto Shulk, opening up with 60 damage in the opening segments of this fight. Absolutely brutal in terms of the chase down that he's doing. But there's still a lot of work left to do. Smash Art is active, so Olimar's really got to watch out, but he lands the up air, and that gives him the lead here. So not a whole lot that Shulk can do to finish things out when he is at a deficit there. Olimar's still holding very strong here. Despite getting hit with a couple of these attacks, we've got the Smash Art active yet again, and this time Shulk does manage to connect with an up air, and so that will actually finish things off for Olimar's first stock and put them on equal stocks. And that Fire Red Pikmin, along with the Poison Pikmin, dealing a lot more damage to Shulk, and I believe that was an up smash that manages to take Shulk's second stock, and Olimar's likely going to end up taking this second game and progressing further on to the winner's side of the bracket. He can do to really counter that. Olimar decides to sacrifice one of his purple Pikmin in order to make his recovery a little easier, and finally, as that Smash Art is expiring, manages to land that forward smash and finish off Olimar's second stock. So we could see a game 3 here if Shulk continues to apply this same kind of pressure. Up air from Olimar actually takes that last stock off of Shulk, so we will not be seeing a game 3. Shulk will find himself on loser's side, and Olimar will progress to play the winner of our last matchup of today, who we will see right now. So we'll be opening up this last match of the day on Small Battlefield, and I think that Palutena should probably do better here. She is a whole 7 spots higher on the ranking, and also early on in my channel's life cycle we had a series where that we called the CCSL, that Wario was an active combatant on, and he did not do well at all in that series whatsoever. So we'll have to see if Palutena can continue to prove that she performs in these matches better than Wario has, at least from my experience. And she currently is doing quite well, even taking the lead with that back air off the left-hand side of the stage there. And Wario jumping into the explosive light there. And Palutena really putting the hurt onto Wario here. Manages to take a second stock with that forward smash, and we could see a very rough set here for Wario if he doesn't figure out any sort of significant counterplay here. Palutena now has a little bit of rage to work with as well. And as I say that, she gets hit with Wario's back air, and that at least evens out the percentage, but Palutena still has well over a full stock advantage now. And that up smash at point blank is going to be the move that does Wario in. So let's see where he decides to counterpick to what could possibly be the last game of the day. So Wario's counterpicked over to, interesting choice, but he's counterpicked over to Final Destination for this second game. And we'll have to see if that really pans out in his favor, because I think he liked having some platforms to retreat to. However, it gives him more room to roam on that bike and less places for Palutena to run away, so perhaps it was his best option here. And I know that this is the Duck Hunt theme that's playing, but it sounds oddly WarioWare-ish, doesn't it? Wario walks into the end part of that explosive light, and finally takes a stock with the up smash, giving Wario the lead here. Palutena could be in a bit of a rough spot here in this second game. Maybe she did want to have some platforms to deal with. Gets, I believe, a dash attack there off the edge of the stage, and finally has us on unequal stocks, while Wario maintains a very healthy percent lead. And the counter, again, not landing anything significant for her there. And Wario lands another up smash to take the stock lead yet again. Gets caught with the end of that explosive light, and Palutena is being very aggressive here against Wario. And gets the up smash there as well to equalize things. She is not playing around here. We are dancing around at dangerously high percents. Any significant strike from either combatant will finish off the match at this point. Wario goes for the up smash, misses, and Palutena finishes things off with an up tilt. Wario fought very, very hard to finish off that match, but Palutena comes out with the win yet again. And that is where we're going to end things off. We still have 22 matches in Winner's Side Round 1 to go through, so you should expect to see 11 of those next week and 11 the following. But that is going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.